What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Cool Colas here, and you are now tuning into a new episode of the Pro-Black Blurred Kingdom podcast. I'm going to be totally honest with you all. On this episode, I am not going to spend too much time talking. As a matter of fact, I want to say something very short, very sweet, and straight to the point. I wanted to talk today about the death of Carolyn Bryant Donham and my thoughts on it. So initially, when I first made a post about this on social media, the point was to bring awareness to her death. And I wanted to get the idea of how people were feeling about it. I wanted to allow people to have a space to vent and to talk about their feelings around the fact that she had just passed away. And so now that we're kind of in this phase where there's enough time to really have gotten through how we initially feel about the whole Carolyn Bryant Donham death situation, I think it's time for us to talk about the reality of what all this means and how we should think about what happened and how we should go about things going forward. The reality, and this is something that everybody who's listening to this, I need you all to realize, and I need this to really sink in as much as possible, is that the death of Carolyn Bryant Donham is not a win for Black society, no matter what way you try to swing it. If anything, this is a loss, and I'm going to explain exactly why. Carolyn Bryant Donham, for all practical purposes, was able to live a full life. She lived till she was 88 years old. She passed away April the 25th of 2023. Now, with that being said, what you need to realize is that a lot of people, especially Black people, don't even live to be that old. She really got no real repercussions for her actions. She was protected by the white supremacists. Well, let's start off from the beginning. She lied. She hid it for a while. She was protected by the white supremacists, and she was able to live a normal life the way that anybody else would be able to live their life. She was able to have children. She was able to get married. And I believe she also was able to have grandchildren as well, too. So she saw her children grow up. She saw her grandchildren go up. And yeah, she got cancer. But the bottom line is that she died at the age of 88, and it was due to cancer. She died basically as to what most people would deem natural causes. And justice was simply just not served. And as far as everything that happened, I'm not going to rehash it because that is a very simple search that you can take. The only detail that is kind of fuzzy was the claim that he whistled at her, was the claim that he sexually harassed her, or was the claim that there was some type of quote unquote advanced catcalling that was going on. That's the only thing that's really subjective. Everything else is pretty objective. It was clear that there was an altercation where she claimed that he had whistled at her because he was visiting some family in Mississippi. What happened after that was these white supremacists lynched him. And then when there was a court case about what happened, she allowed this to go on. And on top of that, too, there were no repercussions for real for the white supremacists who killed him. And there were no repercussions for her for later lying and admitting to lying. She was not locked up for that. And this is also kind of messed up because think about Jussie Smollett. I mean, this dude literally was a menace to his damn self. I mean, think about that whole situation. Jussie Smollett basically said that he was beat up for being a gay Black man. That was kind of like the whole idea of his whole accusation. And then he kind of went on this rant, said he was the gay Tupac and he's fighting back, although he had been assaulted. And there was speculation later that he had basically hired and paid somebody to do that just as a publicity thing. And they were basically trying to throw the book at Jussie for the fact that he lied about being assaulted. Now, here's the thing. Jussie was really only a menace at that point to himself. He didn't get anybody killed. He didn't get anybody lynched or anything like that. And they literally were trying to basically say that he needed to serve some time for lying. And they even had the Black community divided about how they felt about that. And I said, although I'm not really sure if I believe him getting some time for basically only being a menace to himself was absurd. But let's look at the hypocritical part of this issue when we translate it to what happens with white supremacy. Carolyn Bryant Donham lied about Emmett Till. That got Emmett Till killed, and she served no time for that. She didn't even get prosecuted for that, let alone serve time for it. She got to live a normal life and died quietly in, Westlake, Louisiana. And she literally got no repercussions for it. But in the situation of Jussie Smollett, people are trying to throw the book at him. See, this is what white supremacy does. It tries to make you become sticklers for what happens to blacks in society, while not giving whites the same level of accountability. Because there's no way in hell that there shouldn't have at least been an attempt, a strong attempt, to find this damn woman and get her prosecuted, let alone justice actually being served for this woman. Now, what that tells you is that white supremacy is doing its job, and white supremacy is protecting her, not only from a standpoint socially, and her being vulnerable, like just in public, but even judicially, she's being protected. So this was really a loss. I mean, we literally let a criminal, because that's really what she was, a criminal, get away with allowing a murder and being the catalyst of a murder to go on. And essentially, if we're being real here, she really was the catalyst for a lot of that civil rights uprising type stuff, because what was happening around that time was also the issue of having Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and all these other people who were seeing all the injustices that were going on to black people at the hands of the white supremacists. And a lot of them basically sacrificed their lives to try to make a change, and they were killed for it, and they were also not protected for it. I mean, all of this really just comes full circle. And now you got, even in this situation, even beyond her death, you got some of Emmett Till's family trying to play the whole let's forgive and forget type shit. You know how like them old niggas do. Let's forgive and pray to God for a better tomorrow. That's some fucking bullshit. This is the type of shit I'm talking about. And then you even got some white people who are playing up the role. Well, I mean, let's be real. Emmett Till did catcall her. Are you fucking serious? Are you serious? And I think there was a chick, I can't think of her name right now, but there was a chick who made a comment basically saying that she thinks that Carolyn Bryant Donham was wrong and she's not a racist or something like that. But at the same time, he was catcalled. So my thing is, bitch, does that justify motherfucking him getting murdered? That's what I'm trying to fucking understand. How does that justify him getting murdered? It doesn't. it just doesn't. So what I'm trying to tell you all, and this is the message for the day. You have got to stand up for black people when they are accused of things. This is the exact reason why, and I won't go into too much detail with this situation, but with the whole Jonathan Majors thing, this is the same reason why I said you all have got to play the role of innocent until proven guilty, especially when it comes to black men, because a lot of these white women will get on here and they'll lie their asses off about what happens to them when it comes to black men. The same has been done for Michael Jackson as far as the children goes. The same thing has been done for Bill Cosby. Black men could either be at the peak of success and they're doing something to be able to take them down, which is an act of white supremacy. The other thing that happens is they play the role of, oh, he was a black rapist. He was a black brute. You know that whole trope, the black brute trope that I've talked about many times before. And then what they do is they use that as a means to get them lynched. And they don't care one bit. And then you got these Shea Butter Sambo sitting up in here talking about some, well, I think that he did it. And then, or they'll play the role of, I don't know if he did it or not. And they'll still subtly side with white women. That's because to some extent, a lot of them want to be honorary white women. So if you, and this is my message to y'all, because I'm kind of going on a tangent at this point. When you see black folks doing this, if you see shea butter samples that are doing that, don't be afraid to spit on them. You do not have to be cool, cordial, or quiet with people in our society who have decided to embrace open coonery. And I also want to say, from an accountability standpoint, we as black people have to do everything in our power to protect one another, especially black men who are going to lead the charge in being able to fight against white supremacy. And what a lot of you all are doing is letting black men basically get taken down by white supremacists. You all aren't checking these things up front. And because you have no sense of codification, you're just allowing it to happen. That's why a lot of you all think that her dying is a good thing. Her not being on earth is a good thing. The bottom line is that this is not a win, y'all. This is simply a loss, and we cannot allow this to happen again. But outside of that, just like the rest of y'all, I hope that she rests in piss. That's the end of the episode. Hope you guys have a good day, and I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.